Alright, so I'm gonna make a video on why John Cena's heel turn isn't really panning out the way that I think a lot of people would have hoped. Why the philosophy that he has adopted is kind of flawed on several levels, but that's not this video. This video I'm going to actually be looking at some of the opponents that I'd like to see him face before this retirement tour kind of wraps up. These people, it's a mix, so it's people who are currently active, people who have retired maybe because of injury or have other things going on currently. Also people who he has never faced before, because nostalgia is great, but we do need to think about who will be there maybe the next 10 to 15 to 20 years, and how do we build those stars and give those stars the right kind of limelight to become somebody like a John Cena, right? Just like how Kurt Angle was able to call out next generation, John Cena came down. Same thing here. We want to make sure that we do see the nostalgia. Nostalgia is great and everything. We do know the beats, and we know they can put on great shows, even if they're a bit older, maybe a little bit slower now. So it will be a bit more laborious for them. But beyond that, let's look at who's coming up and who could be the next big star. Give them a platform, a chance to also shine, right? So the first thing I want to say, the feud that is going on right now with him and R-Truth, all the controversy around it, it's good for business. It is in poor taste, as a person, to know that R-Truth put in so much and still was kind of tossed aside, and because of the backlash he was brought back and all that. I did say in a previous video that the heel turn more fits R-Truth in a sense, because it would have made more sense for R-Truth to become a heel based on even what just happened, being cast aside by his corporation, never really getting the chance to shine, having to make his own moments every chance that he got, every slim chance that he got, right? But that's not what the main focus is here either. I'm gonna be looking at some people I want to see him face. Maybe he's even up on the Monday night or Friday night or some other, maybe on NXT, and even like the cross promotions also. So the first one that I'd love to see him face somewhere along the line, no, he's pretty much retired, and this may be something that will never happen, but I'd love to see them face off one last time. Wade Barrett versus John Cena. The whole Nexus angle thing. I did make a video on like why the Shield is actually like they stole the Nexus's playbook, but I made a video on that like last year. But I think there's a nice story that could be told here between them. And earlier in the promos that John cut, he pretty much said that anybody that he put through his typical John Cena roast session test thing, the trial by fire, like talking to you on the mic and fixing the hat and then saying fine speech, all of that. I think that Wade Barrett never really got the full chance to become what he could have been. He did have the look, he had the persona, he had the ability to make believable storylines that people could buy into. But after the Nexus thing, then the core, it just never really worked out. He did become like Intercontinental Champion, which was great, but how I see Wade Barrett, he should have become one of the all-time greats, because he had the potential and he didn't really do anything wrong. It's just how it works out. But hopefully we get to see this. I don't know how they kind of stage it. Maybe he does have a gripe and he starts like talking about it over a couple of weeks, or maybe he does it online and it implodes from there, you know. But that's one of them I want to see. CM Punk is a natural choice because, you know, CM Punk now, they have such a long history, and in them coming together for one last match, they do have many different touch points that they could use as reasons for the match. Could just be a match of respect, could be a match of could be a match of maybe differences that they bring up from past issues that have been resolved. You know, it would be a good match to see. You know that they're master storytellers, so they could pretty much just, you know, maybe one steps on the other shoe, and then that becomes the catalyst. They'll find a reason. But, you know, he's up there in one of my picks that I'd like to see. I'd also make like a tier list. I'll put him at B tier. Alright, next person though. So we know that somewhere along the line The Rock will get involved. There's no ifs or buts. You're gonna see The Rock, and hopefully the version of him we get to see isn't a watered down version of a character he's trying to portray. I'd love for him to tap back into that WrestleMania 40 final boss energy, not just alluding to it, but actually tapping into it and give us something memorable. I'd love for him to like be maybe the last maybe one of the last 5 matches. I'd love to see him be a part of that. Alright. Next person. Alright, sir. Funny enough, I'd actually like to see The Miz get a second shot or a other chance at John Cena, for a couple of reasons. The Miz has been one of the most consistent characters, just like we have R-Truth that's been consistent on the comedy side. And I think that they've thrown at Miz, he's been able to knock it out of the park. He's built his whole life being one of the most flexible individuals in the company, and definitely a first ballot Hall of Famer. So yeah, he's one that I'd love to see also. Alright, so another one, Roman Reigns, because, you know, I would say a lot of the final boss thing of him being so confident on the mic is he came as a catalyst of when he went against John Cena in the when John Cena gave him his fine speech moment, and I think it would they did face off after that, yes, but I do think that there's still room for like a final match between them. So I don't know how they kind of spin it, what version of the final boss, well, what version of the tribal chief would get versus what version of John Cena by that point, but it would be interesting to see that also. All right. This one now is one that I would really love to see, because for me, WrestleMania 26, when John Cena and The Rock and Batista faced off, that was the first time I was actually seeing them. That was my introduction basically to wrestling. That's where it all started for me. And I know that he's no longer active, no longer has any interest in wrestling, but the history between them is so, how do you call the word, poignant, that there is a lot of room there to tell an amazing story. Now, will they be able to tell that story? Probably not, but Well, who knows? Maybe I'll just allow AI to write the story of how this should actually go, how it would actually work out. Yeah, so another one that is definitely not going to happen, but would be awesome to see. Maybe if it was like 10 years earlier, I'd have loved to see Triple H being one of the contenders versus John Cena at some point during the retirement tour, especially since how he's kind of allowing John Cena to do his own thing with his retirement tour, because he did say that at the end of Money in the Bank that he was allowing John Cena to do whatever he wanted, and John Cena is happy doing whatever he wants, right? I would love for them to get to the point, just like how with R-Truth now, they're kind of making bad decisions. If they could tell a story that they realize that John Cena is making a bad decision and Triple H has to step in, there would have been so much space there for a nice little feud to happen. I'm just kind of sad that a lot of the feuds now, because there's so many pay-per-views, because there's allegedly so much debt with WWE and TKO, right? It doesn't allow the breathing space for a lot of the stories to actually develop, because that's what a lot of I think that's a part of the problem with John Cena's heel turn too. It hasn't gotten the chance to really breathe, because there's so much riding on the expectations of TKO trying to milk every little second advertising wise and every pay-per-view and raising all the prices. So it's kind of fatiguing. But yeah, that's another one I'd love to see. Another one. Alright, this may shock a lot of people, but for me, Sheamus. And I'm not talking about this Sheamus. I'm not talking about burger after burger. I'm not talking about banger after banger. No. I'm talking about year one Sheamus. I'm talking about it's a shameful thing, lobster head Sheamus. I'm talking about the Sheamus that beat Triple H down with a metal pipe the night that he that Sheamus, the night, or was it? I think it was WrestleMania. Beat everybody. The dude was the face of the game that year. I remember that. It was awesome, man. So I don't know how they'd spin it, if they would maybe allow him to go heel, or maybe do a finding his roots kind of thing, and then go on to make an awesome main event versus him and John Cena, bring back some of that ruthless Irish curse, backbreaker, and everything else that came along with that original cut version of Sheamus. But yeah, he's another one I'd love to see. And even if we don't get like that original version, I know Sheamus would still be able to put on an awesome match. But yeah, hopefully somewhere along the line we do see Sheamus. If it's even being mentioned or in passing, just hint that it could have happened, that would be enough to keep me happy. Alright, so I also wanted to look, so that's kind of most of the nostalgia side. Some honorable mentions would be, like Edge, Edge. They had some awesome matches over the years. We just saw Randy Orton. It could have gone better, but, otherwise, like Chris Jericho, maybe like a Matt Hardy or Jeff Hardy also. Just like honorable mentions that, could have been awesome to also see him go up against. But that's pretty much it on the nostalgia side. There probably are a lot more I'm not really like remembering right now. But yeah, those are the nostalgia side. Now on the NXT side, it's not that many I'd love to see him face. We see that Joe Hendry is now officially a part of the NXT brand. Okay, cool. Or maybe it's just because he's on there every other week now, so they pretty much just gave him the contract. But as I mentioned, I'd love to see him actually face some younger guys, some guys who are kind of unknown, not really on the roster yet, but they do have plans for them. A lot like how the Open Challenge went when you saw like Kevin Owens coming out for the US Open Challenge versus the NXT champion, that type of thing. Like, because it does help to build the brand up a bit more, like on the NXT side, but it helps to showcase the talent that's there, and it just by allowing these guys to kind of get that space in the limelight, it will allow them to actually gain experience and be able to transition when their time officially comes, right? So transition easier, hopefully, because a lot of people that we thought would have been big stars never really matriculated effectively, but that's another video altogether. So for who I'd love to see him face, let's see. Obafemi is definitely on that list. The ruler of NXT, definitely. Let's see. Inimara would be a good one also. You see, if all this thing never happened with Velveteen Dream, he would have been an awesome choice too. An awesome choice, because he would have probably already been on the main roster too, actually. Velveteen Dream would have probably been at least 2-time Intercontinental, probably a tag team champion, probably even right now he would have probably been in R-Truth's place as far as getting that main event shot, sadly, but yeah, that pretty much that's how much faith that I had in Velveteen Dream and his ability to tell stories and convey the emotions needed in his own type of execution, right? So I said Obafemi. Let's get back to this. Miles Bourne, just because he kind of looks like a young Randy Orton, so maybe it would have made the match a bit more exciting in that way. Otherwise, Javon Evans, because he's a high flyer, I'd love to see what he could do. But yeah, others I'm sure do have talent that would be awesome to see on the main screen, but will they get the shot to do it? I don't know enough about them to kind of make that judgment either. So yeah, those are the ones that kind of... Oh, and there's one more here that I think his name is Ricky, right? Ricky Saints. Yeah, how could I miss out Ricky? Yeah, Ricky would be an awesome one to actually have. And Sean Spears, Mr. 10 himself. All right, otherwise from that... like guys like Kevin Owens too would be awesome to see. All right, so outside of WWE now, outside of the WWE, I'd love to see guys like Kenny Omega get a shot. That would be astronomical. Not this version of Kenny Omega, like early 2020 Kenny Omega, like 2019 Kenny Omega, that guy, that version. Okada would be another awesome choice. Tranquilo, that would be another awesome choice from New Japan. Hangman Page too would be an awesome one to throw into the mix. There's a lot of awesome like talent out there that would really like do well in that kind of retirement-esque thing. Oh, and what I wanted to mention this too. I'm not sure if I did in this video. I'd love for John Cena to actually lose the championship to R-Truth. Here's why. It would allow for more depth to be added to his new heel character. So if he loses the championship, it actually helps to put some time crunch, because everything that he has said up to now, it would mean that he'd have to again vie for the championship. He would have to push and politic his way into new matches to win the championship before he retires, and it would be maybe he's like a more reflective version of his character if he loses it to R-Truth, and it would also be good on the R-Truth side, because make no mistake about it, if R-Truth wins, the sales that are going to happen, on the money making side alone, it could be astronomical if booked correctly. So I'm not sure if we're gonna get the R-Truth that we had up to last Monday with JC. What's his name again? The new guy on the new guy that he faced in his last match. I don't know if we're gonna get that version of R-Truth, or it's gonna be like a heel hybrid R-Truth, or totally delusional R-Truth, or we don't know yet. But tonight is Money in the Bank, so anything could happen. It's Monday, June 9. All right. So let me stop yapping. All right, another one. All right, so this one is who I'd love to see him kind of finish out the whole retirement tour with. And that person, my friend, is none other than the Jacob Fatu. I'd love to see him do some kind of program with Jacob Fatu, because Jacob Fatu has been consistently one of the most awesome performers that they've kind of had in recent months here. Well, since he arrived, he's been such a charismatic persona that he is somebody that I love to see get the chance to be, beyond the US champion, also be in the picture for something greater. We know that is coming, but to have him versus John Cena as a way to like ushering the new the passing of the torch, even if he doesn't win, or maybe Cena, if he's still heel at that time, blindsides him, or maybe even we get a chance where we see somebody turn John Cena mid-match. But yeah, that would be a good way to end it out. Yeah, so I'm pretty much done yapping here. You can let me know down below the guys you would love to see show up along the retirement tour also, I guess. And if you're interested in like wrestling stories beyond just WWE, and you feel like you kind of missed the old gritty type of storytelling, I do have some wrestling books that you could check out. One of them is Creative Control. It is $2.99. If you do decide to get the you get to decide how much you want to pay. So if you want to pay that, or you want to pay like $3 or $3,000, I will not stop you. I will say yeah, go ahead. But this is Creative Control. It's pretty much a wrestling story that's based around a dying promotion, and the new creative director, Gabe Malloy, has to come in and try to save this promotion. The way that he is going to approach trying to save it is he's going to have to make some really tough decisions. The owner of the company, he has his own views on how the promotion should be, and they clash on certain things. The talent is really unique and very, very interesting, right? So there's like 5 months on the clock. Promotion is sinking, and they have to come together to create an awesome new product. And yeah, so this is one of the books. There's some of the characters. So you have Titan, you have Grim, you have Cold Stone, you have the Dead Undertaker, and you have Gabe Malloy, as I mentioned. He's the last writer left, right? So it's 20 plus chapters of serialized wrestling drama. If you want to read that, go ahead. It does help out the channel a bit. There's also 2 other ones. So there's Pin Me Pay Me, which is a jobber story, and there's also The Ring General, which is it's more on the referee side. So this one follows Benny. The Ring General follows Benny, and Pin Me Pay Me has several jobbers that kind of mixed in a very interesting way. So just because it's a jobber story, that doesn't mean it's boring and it's not something you want to see. It's more taking the jobber experience and going through more the underdog side of them wanting to, they do have the inclination of wanting to become bigger stars and maybe they have those aspirations, but it's never really given the chance to really flourish. Maybe they're from families of people who have been jobbers for generations. Yeah, all that is kind of mixed in, right? So if you're interested in that, that one is $5, and the other one here, Ring General, is also $5 too. So Ring General, it's interesting in its own right. I'm not gonna go much into it, but it's pretty much, you know how referees are kind of always in the payoff in wrestling matches and all that. They're always the ones that help to protect the talent, make sure that if something goes wrong, they have to pretty much be able to call. If they need to change the end of the match, or if there needs to be somebody ejected that's going to be interfering, protect the talent, move the story along. If they need to slow the match down because things are going too fast, they know how to do that. They're pretty much the ring general, okay? But yeah, that's the video, and I need some water. All right.